good, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowlberry biscuit. Like I said in my previous video, Scotty Fit, he gonna keep going, bro. I know I had my questions about him when he first joined. I said, what has he done as a GM? Who are we going to actually credit for the Seahawks' success? And since the Seahawks haven't drafted well in recent years, I mean in the last 4 or 5 years, and their last great drafts were like 6, 7, 8 years ago, how much can we really trust Scott Fitterer to come through here and make these moves that are very, very efficient, cost-effective, and actually bring in good players? He been doing the damn job real well. Throw up this tweet right here from Joe Person saying, Panthers have agreed to terms with tight end Dan Arnold. League source says 2 years, 6 milli rocks on any block per Peter Schrager. We now have another tight end. Now, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I don't know, our man Chris Manhertz, or Chris Martinez as some people like to call him, he is gone. I think he went to the Jags, actually. Our best blocking tight end is no longer on the squad. I think Ian Thomas blocks pretty well. He was not as good as Chris Manhertz, so I won't even bluff you on that. I like Ian a lot, but he's not as good as Chris Manhertz. He does a good enough job, but Chris was a demon on it. He was basically a tackle who could catch sometimes. And that might sound like minor or irrelevant news, but I'm going to circle back and talk about why Chris Manhertz leaving was a big deal, especially when you consider this Dan Arnold pickup here. Now, Dan Arnold is the truth, right? This man he's a big body dude. He's 6'6", 220. Dude is kind of fast. He's pretty fast. You see some really good route running on his part, especially on in-breaking routes. And he's a dude who can go up there and be a high point specialist. When he is 6'6", about 220 pounds, you can bully just about any defensive back. Since the moment I started making videos about the Panthers, I've been talking about having a player who can high point the ball in the front and back corners of the end zone for a long time, and we haven't had one of those dudes really since Kelvin, maybe, who knows, maybe Greg Olsen a while ago. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Dan Arnold can definitely do that. Big body dude, can go up there with the best of them. He went undrafted in 2018 and had some down years, but since then, meaning just this past season, he's looked pretty good. Last year with the Cardinals, he played in all 16 games. He had 45 targets, caught 31 of those. That's a pretty decent catch rate. As a tight end, maybe you want to catch a few more. I talked to a few Cardinals fans. They said that he had a few problems with drops. What I saw was he had 3 drops. Maybe there were some unofficial drops that were just out of the way, or maybe he could have worked a little harder to get to the ball. But Cardinals fans seem to believe that he wasn't as consistent as his numbers and percentages would lead you to believe. But we can leave that alone for right now because we have a better quarterback than what they got over there in Arizona. I believe in Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater gonna put the ball on the spot every single time, right? Right? 438 yards, 4 touchdowns. If we get that out of him at the tight end position this upcoming year, I'm cool with it. $6 million is a little bit more than I think other teams may have wanted to pay for him, but there's no word on this actual guarantees just yet. It'll probably be somewhere like $4 million where it's $2 million each year, something like that. So that would actually be great for us, honestly. You get some pretty good production from a player in Dan Arnold who is just decent enough to make you have more weapons and feel a little bit better about Teddy Bridgewater being the starting quarterback for this upcoming season. But like I mentioned at the top of the video, I have to circle back around to this Chris Manhertz news and talking about why Dan Arnold coming in while Chris Manhertz is leaving is sort of a big deal. Now, like I mentioned, I did talk to some Cardinals fans, and the biggest thing they talked about when mentioning Dan Arnold was not just that he dropped a few passes here and there throughout the season. The biggest thing they said was Dan Arnold not only won't, but he can't block. This man cannot block. So he's basically just a big body receiver who happens to play tight end. They were telling me that this man will not block, cannot block. And if you see highlights of him blocking, that is not something you should come to expect out of him. The man is just a liability in blocking. Now that's what I heard. I saw a few plays here and there, but I won't lie to you. I wasn't watching full Cardinals games staring at their backup tight end, who actually had the 3rd most starts of their 3 tight ends. He had 5 starts. The other 2 had 8 each. So this is a guy who was a rotational piece, but also was their only receiving tight end. And I guess he didn't start because he just could not block as well as some of those other guys. So that's another big thing. Our O-line is getting built up, but there's still a lot of question marks on it. If we're going from a guy like Chris Manhertz to Dan Arnold, who can catch. He can catch, but he just can't block. We're going to have to find ways to either disguise that or mitigate that or find ways to make things a little bit better for Teddy and whoever our quarterback is going to be next year coming up. Just to make life a little easier, these blocking schemes have to be on point because from what I've been hearing, Dan Arnold cannot block. But for right now, that's what's going to be the trade-off. If you want a receiving threat at a tight end spot, even Pro Football Reference calls him a wide receiver on his page. So it is what it is. I actually like this Dan Arnold pickup, and I think that we can still use Ian Thomas in the scheme. This means to me we're not going to be going for any tight ends early on in the draft. We may still draft a tight end in the later portions of the draft, maybe McKinney or something like that. But this Dan Arnold pickup tells me that we are trying to get more weapons, and maybe we're trying to give Teddy so many weapons, so many options, he has no choice but to succeed. Get us an O-line, and we can make things work. Teddy could be decent enough with all these weapons around him and C-Mac coming back. So I'm going to hold out my judgment until later on. But right now, I call this Dan Arnold pickup pretty damn decent. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm not going to sit here and love it. That's what thoughts on the matter, though, man. Dan Arnold, welcome to the Panthers, bro. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.